Hi, the new wave plugin season is open, and you might be hunting for a few of them because they are cheap and they are high quality. I want to give you an insight of what I'm seeing here because I've been through this. The first recommendation is the Ssl E Channel. The G channel is exactly the same but modeled after a different design. Let's just say that the Ssl E channel is more intuitive and the G channel is more accurate. Now there are two E channels modeled from different consoles. The other one is Mix Hub. This one has a better saturation section and more control, and has better saturation overall, but they sound different. This one is a little bit darker, and which is awesome, but if you wanna compare them both, you will notice that both of them are great aside from the distortion scene. Vocals, the omni-channel. Why? Because you get everything you need. Everything, absolutely. You get a saturation control, which is the equivalent of a preamp with the filters, and you get the EQ, a parametric EQ that can be turned into shelving and adjustable Q, and two de-essers, which translates into two dynamic equalizers because you can change you can turn the frequency all the way down to 20 Hz. So you can use one to control the mid bands or the resonances in the lows, and the other as a de-esser. Compression. It has three compressors, a VCA which is very fast, fed which is very fast, and an opto which is great for vocals and drums. The VCA is especially good for bass compression because it's very accurate, and the fed is very fast, but it's more groovy. Then you get a gate, which is a gate, and then check this out, great reverb, like everything you need, because it's a hybrid between a synthesizer and an impulse response. By the way, there's something about impulse response in Mix Hub. This is the technology used as opposed to digital modeling, which is used in the Ssl channel, the old one. What's the difference? A tiny bit more accuracy, and the people of acoustic audio swear by it. I believe you can get good results with both, but if you're a purist, you will want to try this sometime. L2. What's the magic of L2? Well, first of all, it's let me show you. This is a very revered, credited digital hardware from Wave. It's the first hardware they made, and he has exactly the same controls as the limiter. Well, this is the one, not L1. L1 are used for mixing. Real ADT. If you watch my videos on plastic pop vocals, that's where the sun is at for me. And then the Quick Child. This is a Bari Mu compressor, and the magic of Bari Mu compressors is that they are uncontrollable. However, being made of tubes, they have a sweet performance that makes them uncontrollably perfect. Somehow everything falls into the right place when you work with these compressors, even though you cannot control the attack time and the release time is a mess, and it works differently on every plugin or even hardware. The magic for me about this plugin is that it's a Fairchild. There's plenty of Bari Mu models in the plugin world, but not many Fairchild, which is the vocal compressor for excellence. and you can run 2 and 3 times through this, and you will get a lot of noise and a lot of saturation, but it will be right. It's just right. The best deal of them all. Wave's own take over guitar compression, classic de-esser, mastering EQ with really groundbreaking features for at the time of release, and probably the most copied digital EQ ever. Vocal compressor. This is just Wave's take on the perfect vocal compressor and gate, and something similar to Melodyne. Now you can expand the GUI and it will look great, and it's really smart actually, because you pick up the key of the song you're singing in, and the plugin will do a huge deal of it. Convolution. This one is the lightest of them all, the IR versions, Convolution reverse from Wave. Well, there's a live version actually, but this one allows you to load any convolution file, and you can change a few things, but not too much. So you can load whatever you want. You just can even cabs and amp simulators. Well, that's a great deal. MV2, everybody loves it, and Compressor. I would get the whole thing if I had. Another amazing body mute, Brower Motion. To me, the most sophisticated and surprising panning tool ever, auto panning tool ever made. Vinyl is a great plugin. Renaissance Reverb is a digital reverb. It will sound just as good as you are capable of manipulating, not a bit better or worse. Clamix down is great, but I'm against using too much processing in the boss lately. This one is really great though for rock and jazz rock and stuff like that. This is a great piano. It's my piano right now. Center is great. Kaleidoscope is great. I've only used it. Presets. Ocean Way Nashville. The good thing about this is that, well, there's something that I have heard quite a few people talking about, this Nashville recording sound with a little bit less bass in the presence in the bass and more definition in the kick. Well, I get that with this one. I don't know if it's his suggestion or something. Meta filter, something you will use to change something you don't like. Bass rider, clap guitars. The good thing about clap guitars as well as bass, clap bass, is that if you turn off all those yellow buttons, the signal will be clean, and then you can turn on, for example, pitch, which is a great stereo widening tool for guitars, and it has 3 modes, and then you can add a little bit of delay or reverb if you want, or just turn everything off and use a compressor or the EQ, which is very intuitive. In the case of the bass plugin, is pretty much the same, but you have a sub and saturation, great distortion features for bass, and CLA knows how to use them all. So that's what I would suggest. Don't forget to go to your personal daily deals and take care of your stuff. I don't need this. I have 2 of them. Well, whatever. See you next time. minutos. Hi.